Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Karen's Kitchen. I'm going to do a soup today because we're a little bit on the cool side. We're going to be 70 here today, so we're not real hot. We're only in the 60s right now, so I think a soup will taste really good. Hi, Gary. Good to see you. There's my daughter. And this has got broccoli in it, it's got asparagus in it, and it's got cauliflower in it, plus some spices and onion. Hi, good to see you. Welcome. Let me go ahead and share this out. Hi, good to see you. Welcome. Let me go ahead and share this out, and then I'm going to ask for a share, and I'm going to share it out, as I always do. And I thank you all for sharing out and inviting your friends and followers, because it's because of you that people come in here all the time. This is a drama-free scope, so if you see anything that's drama-wise, get it out of here. Yeah, it probably will be. Maybe not, but you know, it's okay. First of all, I put my olive oil in my pot already, and I've got the instructions right here. And it's gonna put my onions in. Let's see, I think that's what I have to do first. I have to switch on. Okay, saute. I'm gonna put it on sear. We know this is the Pampered Chef's quick cooker, so I put that on sear. And after a minute, add in the onions and saute until translucent. Okay. And I measured out my onions in the Pampered Chef prep bowl, the 1 cup prep bowl. So I measured that. I thought that'd be a little bit easier. Hi, Sharon. Good to see you. Welcome. My daughter must be having connection problems. Oh, your Wi-Fi keeps freezing up? Oh, boy. Oh, man. Is it good for everybody else, or is it? Oh, so is yours? Oh, no. Maybe you have to turn Wi-Fi off. I don't use Wi-Fi when I'm doing the periscopes, and I don't watch Wi-Fi. Well, I do on my iPad, so it has to be Wi-Fi, but I don't usually use Wi-Fi when I'm periscoping. I really didn't think I needed to, so I'm going to put this onion in. Let me get a. I can use this spoon first. And I'll just put this onion in here. Nope, it's not just you. So I'm going to saute these onions until they're translucent. These prep bowls are awesome for small things. And I measure out a cup of stuff. It's really awesome. Let me get another spoon, a different one. So I guess everybody's good now. And I'm good to see you, Gary. Good to see you here. Just cook these down until they get translucent. And then I'm adding in the garlic and saute for another 30 seconds. And I got my garlic here that I just did in my garlic press. Okay, it's starting to sizzle right now, so I'm going to let these go until they get translucent. Hi, Lisa. Good to see you. Welcome. You know how I like to use my quick cooker? I love using this. Makes fast work of everything. Makes fast work. Good to see you. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody coming in and sharing this out and inviting your friends and followers. I certainly do appreciate it, because I don't have to stand here and look at myself that way, and I don't have to talk to myself. Thank you for the super hearts. Thank you there. Thank you for those, Lisa. Hi, Vanita. Good to see you. Welcome. Nikki, good to see you too. Thank you for inviting your followers. I appreciate it very, very much. Good to see you, Vanita. Good to see you. And got some news for my son on Facebook this morning that my daughter-in-law, I think he would call it an emergency hysterectomy, because she had a cyst on her ovaries, and since she's had cancer before, they thought they would be the best to remove everything, because we don't want that to get cancer. So the last I knew, my son said she was out of surgery, she was in recovery. So keep her in your prayers. Her name is Tana. Keep her in your prayers that she recovers quickly, because she's the cog and the wheel that holds the family together. And hi, Vegan Dave, good to see you. And we want her to get up and going. And I know it's gonna put her back a little bit because it did me. I know what it is to have a hysterectomy. It really sets you back a while. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, she's doing, as far as I know, she's doing okay. Surgery was several hours, so I watched when he put it on Facebook and he said she was out because he didn't go to work today because he wanted to be with her in the hospital. And I think it's about a 3-hour surgery, 3-4 hour surgery. Welcome back, Vanita. So with a cyst on her ovaries and having had cancer before, they thought it would be best to take it, or to take her ovaries and that out, uterus, because they did not want that to become cancerous. Oh, thank you. Oh, you can smell it? Well, I can certainly smell it. We do need smell-o-scope, don't we? We need smell-o-scope. We need taste-o-scope. You can smell it. You've got a good smeller then, because I can smell it real good on my end. It smells real good. It's going to smell better when it gets done. You're funny. That made me laugh. We all need to laugh once in a while, you know. We really need to laugh, you know. You're right. It would be. Absolutely. A taste-o-scope would be so much better. Absolutely. I think these are just getting good enough. And I'm going to put the garlic in there for about 30 seconds or so. So I'll take it for 30 seconds. And that's about 2 teaspoons or so. And I won't have to do this because you don't want garlic turning brown. And you got to... Hi, Tricia. Good to see you. You got to keep stirring this because the garlic will have a tendency to turn brown. Of course, I'm going to turn the sear off after I get done with this. And this is only got to cook for 3 minutes. But I have to let it go down naturally. And then after that, then I have to put everything else in it that needs to go in there and needs an immersion blender on it. So that's what my immersion blender is sitting here for, because I need to use that in here. So it ought to be a good soup. I put the veggies in. The spices and stuff don't go into the very end. And my milk, I'm using almond milk. It don't go into the very end. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and shut this off. Cancel that. All right. Now it says add in garlic and saute. Okay, add in all the vegetables and the broth. And it says 3.5 cups of vegetable broth. But I think I'm going to use all the broth. Now this is cauliflower, broccoli, and asparagus in here. What I do is I buy frozen, except the asparagus was not frozen, it was fresh. But the broccoli and the cauliflower are frozen, and I just let them sit and thaw out for just a little bit. And then I'm just going to add all this broth. It says 3.5 cups, but I might as well just use it all, because I'm not going to say that half a cup. I don't want to measure this out. Okay, it calls for 3.5 cups of vegetable broth, and I'll just put it all in there, because there's only 4 cups in here. Okay. And everything else, all these spices and everything, my nutritional yeast and everything will go in at the very end. Okay. Now, close the lid and adjust, okay, in 3 minutes. All right. Where did I put, oh, it's right here. Okay. Get this turned around. Make sure this is down. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, time, 3 minutes. It's going to take a little time to come to pressure because I've got a little more stuff in here. Okay, now I can talk to you for a little bit. Let me fill this out, and then I can come and talk to you for a little bit. Okay, there we go. All right, so what's everybody's weather doing today? Are you on the hot side? We're, like I said, we're going to be 70 degrees today, so we're not going to be all that hot. It's amazing, but... cooling down. We're supposed to get rain, 90% chance of rain this afternoon, which is very rare for this time of year because we just don't get the rain. But I'm glad that we're getting some anyway. I'm thankful for that. I'll take the rain any way we can get it. I did water my lawn this morning, so if we get more rain, well, that's going to even be better for it because it's starting to look really good. So I got to keep it watered every few days, and you know, give it the water that, I'd rather it be natural water, you know, the water from the rain. I'd rather it be that natural than have to use it, my water, because it costs me every time I water it. It makes my water bill go sky high. But, you know, it is what it is. I have to do it. 94 in Oklahoma with a heat index of 108. Whoa! Uh-oh. 87 feels like 96. Under heat advisory till tomorrow at 8 p.m. I've been under those, sweetie. I know exactly what they're like. 87 feels like 96. Well, there's no way the boys are going to go to the pool today. That'd be just too hot. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't want you probably with Andrew there anyway. Yeah, my grandson's there. He got there early yesterday morning. He's there visiting until tomorrow night at midnight. Wants to see his brothers. He thought it was my son-in-law's birthday coming up because he went to celebrate his birthday. It's funny because he thought it was his birthday, but it's his dad's birthday. And I thought, he doesn't remember his own dad's birthday when his dad's birthday is on the 10th, which is tomorrow. So it's funny that he's celebrating. He went to celebrate Sean's birthday. His birthday isn't until the 29th. Well, I don't really know. I just worked at it. I have not always been that way, you know. But I think becoming vegan, it's changed my way of doing things. So I look at things a little differently. 98 with a heat wave of 110. Oh, heat index. So we have a tropical depression forming in the Gulf. Oh my goodness. Wow. Well, you can keep your 98 degrees. Woohoo. That's a little too hot for me. I don't care for 98 degrees. Not one bit. Not one bit. But I'll take what we have. What we have is absolutely nice. Not too hot. Although we have maybe a little bit of humidity, but not that much. We don't get it like the East Coast and West. You know, East Coast does. You know, in the Midwest gets a lot of heat index. You know, stuff. Oh. I bet it is. Yeah, I bet it would be. I'm assuming it. When we lived in Indiana, we had real high humidity there. Always had high humidity. We almost need a humidifier. Here in Oregon, it isn't quite that bad because we're not in a situation like that. But boy, it can get pretty bad in Indiana. I hated it with that heat index and going getting so bad as it did. Humidity, because it'd be a scorcher. It wouldn't be that hot. But it's a crazy humidity that would make it just, and sweat would just pour down off of you. And you had to keep changing your clothes and taking showers. And I got tired of that after a while. Because it just seems like we couldn't get cooled off. We'd go outside at night when it starts, you know, getting close to dark to sit outside to cool off in our lawn chairs. Bad idea, because we had the mosquitoes. All we were doing was swatting at mosquitoes the whole time we were sitting out there. That was no fun at all. You know, I hated that. We were swatting at mosquitoes. Here in Oregon, we just don't have the mosquitoes, and I'm glad of that. We just don't have them where we get, you know, bit by them all the time. You know, we have every other bug, your bees and stuff, but mosquitoes, they're just not very common here. I think it's because we don't get that much rain. Places where they get a lot of rain, it's going to draw the mosquitoes, because, you know, the mosquitoes like that larva, and they lay their eggs in the water. They, you know, and if they see the water, because back in Indiana, if you had, after rain and everything with the mosquitoes, it draw the mosquitoes out. If you had a bucket of water sitting there, it'd be full of mosquitoes. So I know how it goes. Here we just don't get the rain, so I guess that's probably the reason why. But I'm glad that it's cooler here. I hope it stays that way. I don't want it getting too hot. I hate the heat. But, you know, this being the summer, going to have to deal with it. Anyway, I'm glad I found another recipe. I found this recipe yesterday. And I didn't do it yesterday because it was a lot hotter than today. So I thought, well, it's cooler today. I might as well just make this because I couldn't think of anything else to make. And I thought this is simple enough to make. I just had to buy the asparagus. I bought a little extra broccoli in case I didn't have enough. So, and I didn't quite have enough, so I had to buy some more. So I'm glad of that. But I love asparagus, I love broccoli, and I love cauliflower. But whoever thought about putting them all together into a soup? I never have. You know, the only thing I had to cut up was the asparagus. I had to roughly chop those. I had to chop the onions. You know, and I didn't have to do anything with the cauliflower and the broccoli because they were already florets. It's a lot easier for me just to buy the florets in a bag, frozen, and then maybe just thaw it out for a little bit than than buy a head of cauliflower or broccoli and cut them up, because they're already in a bag, florets anyway. You don't have to do anything with them. Just, you know, put them in your cooker, whatever you're cooking them in, pot, whatever, and it makes it a lot simpler. A lot simpler. And with this only being 3 minutes, it's going to be really good. Although it's like I said, I'm going to use the immersion blender because it's not going to get it real pureed. But then I add my milk and that stuff to it. You can't. One thing about the quick cooker, I made a mistake once when I was cooking something on the stove on here without doing it in a periscope. I had put some coconut milk or something in here for the cooking process. Oh my goodness, when I released that out of there, all it was is milk was coming out of this thing. I thought, well, that's a bad idea. You can't put milk in while it's cooking. You put that in for last. I found it out. You learn. I didn't read the instructions good enough, and I was in a hurry to get it done. And so I just skimmed over the instructions. And when I come down to where it says add the milk last, I thought, uh-oh, I already put it in. When you put it in, you can't take it out. And I thought, oh, no, that's easy enough to do. So I made sure this time that I looked the instructions a couple times, looked them over to make sure that I wasn't going to put anything in there that wasn't supposed to go in there right now. It's just the veggies right now. After it's done and it's been with the immersion blender, then I put my spices in there, and I put my nutritional yeast in there, and I put my milk in there. They said coconut milk, which I don't have, so I'll just use some almond milk. So that won't take very long to do that. But anyway, it's fun looking for recipes. I can spend hours on Pinterest looking for recipes because I never really know what I want to make until I find something that's simple, doesn't take very long, and something I can do on the stove, which it would be okay today because it's not that hot, or mainly in here because this doesn't heat the kitchen up. That's why I like using a quick cooker. You won't heat your kitchen up, and it makes it a lot nicer. So that's why I use it a lot, and it goes fast. That's why I call it a quick cooker. You can cook everything so much faster. It's going to get to. It hasn't counted down the time yet because this hasn't come to pressure yet. It should in a little bit, but there's 4 cups of vegetable broth in here, so it's going to take a little time for it to come to pressure. But what is everybody's favorite food? I never have asked that. What's your favorite food of all time? Do you have a favorite, or do you like more than one thing? I mean, as far as whether it's a main dish or a dessert, or what's your favorite food? I would have to say mine would be ice cream, especially in the summertime. In the wintertime, not so much because you can get brain freeze. But I think my favorite is ice cream. As far as stuff to put in the quick cooker, I think about everything I put in here so far. Mac and cheese is delicious in the quick cooker. It goes really fast. Cake! There you go. I don't blame you for that one. I don't blame you for that one at all, Sharon. Cake is really good too, right? Pies are good. I love apple pie. That seems to be my favorite pie, but my daughter made the cheesecake in the blender the other day, and she hasn't had any since the other day when she fixed it. But she said it was pretty good. It tasted better yesterday than it did the night before after she put it in the refrigerator. I told her, I said, yeah, I could have told you it would because it kind of brings all the flavors together. And once it's been chilled for a while, it's going to taste better. So she hasn't had just but one piece of it. But she said all she could taste at first was the cashews. Well, let it sit in the refrigerator for a while, and you shouldn't taste the cashews. So it should pretty... I know, you like so many, don't you? Yeah, I'm not sure what your favorite one is. Oh, yeah. I've got a recipe for Instant Pot mac and cheese, which I put in the quick cooker, and I just get it out. And it's got you put your garlic powder and onion powder and stuff in it. I like it better than on the stove. Even the pasta maker that I got from Pampered Chef, the macaroni doesn't taste as good as it does coming out of here. So I'm going to make it more in here than I pasta, because I used the pasta maker yesterday. Hi, Libby. Good to see you. Welcome. I used the pasta maker yesterday to make some mac and cheese, and it just isn't as good. Now, I can use that for noodles. It probably wouldn't matter, but mac and cheese, it just isn't as good. This is fantastic for mac and cheese. Good to see you, Libby. I was wondering if you're going to make it in. Everything's in my quick cooker, and it hasn't come to pressure yet, but I'm assuming it will, because it's getting close now, I think. Ice cream? Yeah. I can understand that. Ice cream, yep. Oh, absolutely. I made a smoothie this morning in my Instant Pot blender. I made a smoothie. Smoothies are so good. There for a while, I was drinking a lot of them. Then all of a sudden, I stopped drinking them. And I thought, well, why did I do that? because smoothies are good for you. So I'm starting to make smoothies again. They're not that hard to make. All you have to have is I put fresh banana in it, but you have frozen fruit. You could probably have fresh fruit too, but if you're going to put any kind of liquid in there, you can use like almond milk or whatever. I used some juice yesterday, but I put water in it this morning. Water or juice, or you can combine the two, whatever, whatever you want to make. Yes, you're right, you will. And it's going to be a lot better. It's going to taste so good because you made it yourself. And you can make your smoothie any way you want. You can put anything in it you want. You can put, what I do is I take and put chia seeds in my smoothie. Chia seeds are so good, so I'll just dump some chia seeds in it. I had some peanut butter powder this morning as peanut PB Fit. I put some of that in there. You can put all kinds of stuff in there. And I had some frozen fruit. I took about a handful or a little bit more of a handful of frozen fruit and put that in there with I think it was a cup of water I started with, and had one banana and some chia seeds. And it was a pretty good smoothie. Absolutely you control what's in it, Gary. You're absolutely right. You do control what's in it because, no surprise. Because when you buy stuff out of the store, you can't, Erlene can't get my scope. She's in a different town. When you buy anything you buy in the store, you have no control over what the ingredients are. You're at their, now it just came to pressure. You're at their mercy, more or less. But when you make it yourself, you can make it any way you want. Yeah, because you want to drink a cold smoothie. You don't want a warm smoothie. So I always put frozen fruit in mine. Yesterday I had some fresh oranges, and I stuck one orange in there and it was so good. Really, it was an awesome, because I had some apple juice. I used that. I'm not just about out, so that's why I used water this morning. I put apple juice in it and some chia seeds. And I put some grapes in it too. Some yellow, purple grapes, the black grapes, whatever. I guess you could call them black ones. I like them the best. And I put, so like I said, chia seeds in it. And I put an orange in it, banana in it, and I put some frozen fruit in it. And it was a good smoothie. It was so good. It was mouth-watering. And I have control over what I put in it. But it's best if you put frozen fruit in there because you want it cold smoothie. You want it cold. If you don't put a cold fruit in there, it's not going to be cold. I don't want to drink a warm smoothie because smoothies are meant to be drunk cold. So I just, and the bags in the freezer that you buy in the store are not that expensive. You can put a whole bag, a 16-ounce bag in there if you choose to, or divide it up, or just put a handful in there. The sweetness would come from you could probably put a sweetener in it too. But if you have bananas that are getting close to being ripe, which I have some bananas that are trying to get real ripe, that's where the sweetness would come from. It really wasn't tart, but I can put agave in it, or I can put maple syrup in it. Because your fruits as a whole are kind of on the tart side because there's no sugar in them. So you can put any sweetener in it you want. Just be aware of how much you use and all that. If you're trying to cut down on stuff, but agave, I like agave, or I like a maple syrup. Either one of those, honey, whichever. You can put your sweetness in there. You can put everything in there, and I've done that already. Put everything in it and put your sweetener on top of your fruit, and just don't even measure it out. Just pour some in there. And I've done that too. But I didn't put any sweetener in it this morning, and it was real good because the bananas are getting close to being ripe. The riper the bananas, the less sweetener you need. So you really don't. But when I put my apple juice in there, that was kind of a sweetened up as it was, and that gave it the sweetness there. So juice, if you get 100% juice, there might be a little bit of sugar in there, so that might give you the sweetness. So you can use your fruit juices. I would say 100% would be better. Your fruit juices or water, Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because you're going to get hot when you work out, aren't you? Yep, you're right. Hi, Deb. Good to see you. This has just come to pressure, so it's 3 minutes to count down, and then I have to let it naturally release. So if you put whatever you make with your smoothie, you've got control over any of the ingredients you put in it. That's why I like to make smoothies on my own without making any certain recipe, because there are no really smoothie recipes. You just make it the way you want. However, I did find an avocado coconut smoothie on Pinterest, and I can't find it again, but I'll have to find it and print it out. it sounded real good. It was made in the Vitamix, but I want to print that out because, I mean, people do put spinach in their smoothies. I have already, and it makes it like an ugly green, but you don't taste the spinach at all, which I was kind of afraid of I would. It's just little baby spinach. I put about a handful of baby spinach in it, you know, and you don't taste the greens at all because it pulverizes everything and all becomes liquid anyway. So I never had a problem with it tasting the spinach. I was so afraid that it would, and I'm glad I used it anyway. And I got to get some more baby spinach. I don't have any right now, so I can't put it in there. But that's good. You can put fruits and veggies in your smoothies. I may not just like fruit smoothies, you know. I don't like to put veggies in them, but I've seen people put carrots in their smoothies, tomatoes in their smoothies. I'm thinking, well, that's odd. But, you know, maybe it tastes good and maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I mean, they put all kinds of, the stuff they're putting in for a smoothie would be for soup. You know, I would not put that kind of stuff in a smoothie, but, you know, that's not me. I'm not them. They can do what they want, you know. So, you have full control over what you put in your mouth. You know exactly what you're putting in your mouth before you put it in there because you're making it yourself in your blender, so you know exactly what that is. You don't have to guess, and you're not at the mercy of the ones that you're buying the smoothies from in the stores, you know, or smoothie mixes because they've got chemicals in them, and I stay away from all the chemicals. That's why I make my own. Homegrown or homemade is always better because you're not worrying about. See, and I'm gonna cancel this, and I'm just gonna let it, and I'm gonna because it's got natural release anyway. So you're at the mercy of the manufacturer that made it. You know, I don't want to be at the mercy of the manufacturer. I just rather make it myself, so I have full control of what I put in there. You could put a little bit in, you could put a lot in. Usually I use a big glass. This is the one I rinse it. This is what I use for my smoothies. It's a big, I think it's a 12-ounce glass, and sometimes I fill it clear up to the top. Today I didn't have it quite filled to the top, but it was still good. But it makes real. You can get a lot in there that way, and it came out so smooth, no lumps. You didn't taste. Because I don't want to eat a smoothie. Sometimes some of those blenders you can end up eating a smoothie instead of drinking it. Because your strawberries, which you put in it, or your peaches are not quite done, and you might as well take a spoon and eat it. I don't want that. I want to be able to drink it, because that's what a smoothie is. You drink it, you know, and get all the flavor. You know, if you can't eat fruits any other way than put them in a smoothie, you get them that way. Although, I think it's better if you can eat them raw without putting them in a smoothie. But if you can't get them any other way and you don't want to eat them raw, just put them in a smoothie. And it's awesome because smoothies are so good for you. I'm starting to make more now. I stopped for the longest time. I was making them, and then I stopped making them because I got bored at making them. But I thought, well, shoot, I've got plenty of fruits and veggies and stuff, and I might as well start making stuff like that because it's good for you, you know. And I know exactly what I'm making, and I'll make it myself. I can put as little as I want in the container, or as much as I want. So I just didn't have the container full, and I just put just a little bit in there, and it makes it pretty good. So I was asking people, Deb, what their favorite food is. Do you have a favorite food that you like? Anybody that's just coming in, do you have a favorite food? I mean, I think a lot of us like ice cream, you know. As far as a main meal, I really can't say because I like a lot of things. But if you have a favorite, and my daughter, she can't figure out a favorite food because she's like me. You've got more than one favorite, so you can't pick out just one that you really like the best of all of them. You know, I can't do that either. I can't pick out just one because there's way too many that I like. So I just don't really have a real good favorite that I can pinpoint right now because I have so many that I like. You know. Soups. I think my favorite soup of all would have to be tomato soup. That is my favorite soup. Also, broccoli and cheddar. Although I use vegan cheese, make a vegan cheddar or buy shredded vegan cheese and make a broccoli and cheddar cheese soup. It is awesome. It is so freaking good. They've got one for the quick cooker, and I believe this Ace Blender's got one too. I've made them, and they're so good. The red lentil spinach soup I made a while back, and I think it's in the quick cooker book. That was awesome. That red lentil spinach soup, it was so good. You put the spinach in at the very last, and the red lentils ended up turning yellow. Oh yes, I figured you do like broccoli cheese soup. It's awesome. It is so good. But that red lentil spinach soup was delicious. I couldn't believe how good it was. I would think that was my favorite soup so far, because it was so good. And red lentils are hard to find unless you can get them off of Amazon. There happens to be Fred Meyer here, this division of Kroger's. They carry them, so I got them there. So I have the red, the green, and the brown lentils. So I have all three. So, but those red lentils, they turn yellow in the cooking process. So it's awesome. And I love red lentils. I really do. I mean, lentils are so good for you. They're good in tacos. They're good as a meat replacement, you know. You got a meal, you know. You use lentils. You could probably use quinoa too, but I think lentils would be a little bit better. They're so versatile. They're used for so many things. And you put them in a quick cooker, they take little time at all to cook. You on the stove, you have to cook them probably, I don't know, 25, 30 minutes, I think, because I've done that before. Cooked them on the stove. And they're a little harder to cook on. You know, they take a little longer. Hi, good to see you. Welcome. They're a little harder they'll take a little longer on the stove to cook. So I like putting them in here. I like to make recipes in here as much as I can. Most of the recipes I find lately for the Instapot, they also make them for the stove too. So if a person doesn't have an Instapot, they can make it on the stove just as well. It's going to take a little longer. Now, Erlene, she's not in here, but she has taken a soup and she has converted it to the quick cooker. She said it wasn't hard to figure out what to set it for and everything. So it can be done, you know. And she posted it on my vegan Facebook group when she converted it. I said, well, that's awesome. I've never tried that yet, to convert anything from the stove to a quick cooker. But I'm supposed it can be done. You know, she did it, so it can be done if you really want to do it. But it's a lot of fun finding recipes to make. Somebody asked me yesterday about writing my own recipe. I have never really given it a thought about doing my own recipes because I don't know where to start, because it takes a lot of time. It would take a lot of time and a lot of testing, because you'd have to test it and eat it as you go. You would have to check to make sure if you have all the right proper ingredients in it as you go. And without knowing, you wouldn't, you know, unless you test it. You know, these ones that make these recipes, they'd have to test it as they go to figure out how much of each ingredient to put in there. Because you could put too much of something in there and it could be overpowering. Too much garlic, too much onion. You know, I don't know, sweetie. I don't see why not. You'd have it might take a little time of figuring out exactly, because for the quick cooker, it puts more in it. The soup ones. The only thing is, you got to be careful that you don't overfill your canister. We don't want that. So you've got to, if you're going to convert them like that, you're going to have to change exactly the amounts, because there's a lot more amounts go into here. Like if you use vegetable broth or whatever, chicken broth, you're going to have to put less broth in your Ace blender. You're going to have to cut back the ingredients that you use altogether. It probably would work, and I'd never thought about it. It would be worth trying, though, wouldn't it? To see if you could do a soup in there. Because there are too many soup recipes out there for the Ace blender. I did do a tomato soup. Classic tomato soup. That was real good. The only thing I didn't didn't put into it was the onion. But it was a real good soup. It was awesome. It tasted super good. I got 2 days of meals out of it. Wow, that's true. You only need to make for one, right? So you can scale back the recipe quite a bit, you know, because nobody else is going to eat it. So just scale it back. Even that tomato soup that I made, I probably could have scaled it back some, but I used a can of tomatoes. I think it was the diced tomatoes. No, it was a whole tomatoes peeled. I used a can of that and a few other things, and it came out really good. I hope you can. I don't see why you couldn't. You'd have to figure it out, though. You'd have to really work with it, because the lentils expand a lot. So you have to make sure you've got a lot of broth and a lot of water. I don't think it's impossible to do it, but it'd take a long time to figure it out. And these ones that have made these recipes up for that, I don't know how they knew what to use, but there aren't all that many recipes for it yet. But I just make my own soups up. for right now, I just make my own, and just I could take the Vitamix soup I make in the Vitamix and put it in here as well, and it would heat it up and cook it because it's got cashews in it, and it'd be a good soup. It doesn't take much, and it's only for one person anyway, so it's awesome. I could give you that recipe, sweetie. You could try it for the Ace blender and see if it works. It just takes regular tomatoes, a cup of tomatoes, I think, and about a fourth of a cup of cashews, and then it takes water, a little bit of water, and that, because you take a regular tomato, and it doesn't have all that many ingredients in it. Let me see if I can find it. I made it for the Vitamix, and it was really good. Let's see. There's a heart healthy soup too that takes tomatoes and okay, here it is. A cup of tomatoes chopped, a fourth cup of cashews, a half a cup of water, a half a cup of half a teaspoon of sea salt, and a small garlic clove. And then you can put more diced tomatoes on top if you want to. That's all. It's a garden fresh tomato soup. You can probably put that in the Ace blender real easy. Welcome. Is it Valerie's in here? Or is it Ann? Welcome. Whoever came in here, welcome. I'm making an asparagus soup, and I will tell you what the ingredients are. This has got asparagus, broccoli, and cauliflower in it. 2 tablespoons of cooking oil, and I seared onions and then the garlic. 2 cups of broccoli florets, 2 cups of cauliflower florets, 14 to 15 asparagus stems. I think there was about 20 or so. Oh, good, Valerie. There was about 20 or so in the band. I thought, I'm just going to use it all up. I'm not going to put the rest in the refrigerator. I roughly chopped those, so I've got more than 15 asparagus, but that doesn't matter. Let's see, 3.5 cups of vegetable broth, but I put the whole carton in there. It's 4 cups, so I didn't bother with the other half cup. I just put the whole thing in there. And after this gets done, it says a half a cup of cashew milk of milk of your choice. Well, I don't have cashew milk, so I will use almond milk, and then I'll put a quarter teaspoon or a cup of nutritional yeast in it, some thyme, and oregano, and salt to taste, and that'll be finished. And first of all, before I put all the nutritional yeast and everything in there, I have to blend it up with the immersion blender, and then I have to add everything else. I've got the instructions right here to make sure I don't mess up. But it's an awesome recipe. I found it on Pinterest yesterday, and I thought it just had asparagus and broccoli in it, but then I got to look at, it's got cauliflower too. Well, I already had the cauliflower in my freezer. What I do is I just buy the florets already frozen, and then whenever I need to make a soup or whatever, just get it out and measure how much I need, and it works a lot better that way. Better than if I cut, get a head of broccoli or a head of cauliflower and then cut it up. It takes a little time to do that, so I would rather just have frozen and be done with it, because they're already into florets, and I don't have to cut them up or anything. Just put them in my cooker. This only had to cook for 3 minutes. Right now, I'm waiting. I'm naturally releasing the pressure, so I'm waiting for this to go completely down, and then I'll take the lid off, and I will use the immersion blender and get it smooth, and before I add everything else. Welcome to those that's just now coming in. This is an interesting soup. Very good soup. I've never had this soup before, but I'm up for trying anything once, So I'm going to try it because it's got asparagus, broccoli, and cauliflower. If you imagine those 3 together, it ought to be awesome. It ought to taste really good. And if you like asparagus, you like broccoli, you like cauliflower, should be no problem at all. And I love all 3. There is also an asparagus soup by itself. But I think this gives it a little bit better flavor because you're adding all your veggies together, And when I saw this recipe, I thought, hey, this is awesome. I'm going to try this, because I wanted to try something a little different, and I've never made this before. So I'm giving it a try and see what it looks like. And there's a quick cooker Facebook page, and I'll probably post it up there because I don't think anybody would ever done a recipe like this. Of course, I will probably check it out to see, but there you have to get, the recipes have to get approved, and so I post something that may have never been posted in there before. So, but this is something new that I wanted to try. But I was asking everybody, and Valerie, since you just came in a little bit ago, do you have a favorite food that you like? Most of us said ice cream. We said cake. Some of us said we really don't have a favorite food. No, I do like ice cream. I do like cake. As far as a favorite food, I would say ice cream right now. Soup, Well, we made tomato soup, although I would say that red lentil spinach soup I made in the quick cooker turned out awesome, and it was the best tasting soup I ever had, so it was real good too. I was telling my daughter that she wants to make a soup in the Vitamix or in the Ace blender, so I gave her a Vitamix soup that she could do in the Ace blender because it doesn't take very many ingredients. It's for one person. You know, I just get one big tomato and just cut it up, and usually that gives you a cup. Chop the tomato up as fine as you can get it, and if you got a way to cut it up, you know. Oh, I know. So do I. But you know, I like soup all year round. And today, we're a little bit on the cool side. We're not real hot today. We're going to only be 70 degrees. So I thought this is ideal to try to have a soup today when it's on the cool side. Not hot today. We're supposed to get rain this afternoon. You know, that's a good thing that you're not, though, Valerie. You know, that's a good thing that you're not a fan of sweets, because sweets are my downfall. I can tell you that right now. I do eat them, but I try to eat them sparingly. Not as much as your husband, anyway. I do eat sweets, but I try to eat them sparingly because you can really gorge yourself on them, and they're not good if you can eat too much of them. You know, I will eat them, but it's like I said, I would rather snack on some veggies like celery, carrots, dip them in some dip or whatever, and eat that instead of chomping on, you know, eating sweets like a donut, which I still eat those once in a while, but I try to limit how much I eat of them. You know, sweets really aren't that good for us anyway. You know, they just pack on the pounds. You know, and I'm not trying to undo everything I've already done. I'm trying to keep the weight off, and I don't want to add it again. So I got to be real careful. But I think my favorite food is ice cream. Of course, it's what I make myself. Blender ice cream tastes a lot better than what you buy in the store. I mean, like my daughter said, she was looking at the ice cream, and they all have carrageenan in them. Pretty much of them, anyway. Carrageenan, which is a very bad thing to put in your body, even if it didn't have propylene glycol in it. Carrageenan is not good to put in your system, because my grandson is there right now. His fiance cannot have anything with carrageenan. So my daughter has to be careful when she buys anything. She can't buy anything with carrageenan, which you shouldn't have it anyway. So, which is a good thing, because you have to look at the ingredient list carefully, because you don't know what's in there. You do not know the components of those chemicals until you start looking at the ingredient list. And if they have a long ingredient list like this, and you can't pronounce the chemicals, then you certainly don't want to put them in your body, because you don't know where those chemicals are coming from. I certainly don't. I won't put them in my body. If I can't pronounce it, I don't want to put them in my body, because why bother? You know, it's no good. You're doing more harm than good, because, you know, it might be good going down, but then after it's, you know, after it goes down, what is it going to do to you? You know, it's so funny. The other day, I don't know what was going on, but I was getting ready to come out into a periscope, and all of a sudden, I felt sick to my stomach. So I run into the bathroom, and I had the dry heaves. Where they came from, I don't know, because I felt good all morning, and then all of a sudden, I feel like I have to, you know what? So I went in the bathroom, and it was just dry heaves. And after that, I felt good again. Where did it come from? I don't know what made it. I just don't know. I didn't have anything out of the ordinary that day, you know. It was weird, but I come in here and I felt fine afterwards. And I thought, what's going on here, you know? I didn't want to eat anything. I didn't want to do anything, you know. And I run into the bathroom, and oh my goodness. Wow, at least I'm glad I didn't get sick. But those just coming in, my son posted oh, you've had that before? It wasn't very good, I'll tell you. For those that just came in, that I didn't tell you what, my son posted a Facebook post this morning that my daughter-in-law, well, he did it last night, and I didn't see it until today, that she had to have surgery for because she had a cyst on her ovaries. So the doctor thought it would be a good thing to take her ovary and give her a total hysterectomy because of that cyst. She's had cancer. She had cancer in 2012, had breast cancer. And he thought the safest thing to do was to take her ovaries and everything out, so that way it wouldn't become cancerous. So the last I knew, she had just gotten out of surgery and she was in recovery. So the surgery did go well, but we need to remember her in prayer that she recovers fast. because she is the one that holds the family together, and without her, they'd be lost. So my son's been up there all day with her, you know, took off work, which I can understand that. But the hospital's not far from where I live either. I could go up and visit her when I find out what the visiting hours are. I could go up there and see her, I suppose. But anyway, I told him, I says, I know what it's like. I've had one. Been there, done that one. So you get a cyst on your ovaries, you got to get something done about it. And you got to remember my daughter on Thursday. She is having a tooth pulled on Thursday. She's got a tooth right now that's got a cavity clear back in the back, and it's hitting the nerve. And they had given her some kind of medication to try to eliminate the pain, to take the pain away. She took it for 3 days straight. It's supposed to last for a while. Well, it didn't do anything at all. It didn't cut back the pain. So she called today, and she's able to get in there Thursday and have an emergency and get that removed. So she's going to have a tooth pulled, you know, and she's not going to be able to eat anything good for a while. But we got to remember her too, because that's not going to be a nice thing. So when I come in here, she'll already have had her tooth pulled, because she's 2 hours ahead of me. But she's looking forward to getting that, because she can't eat ice cream and that stuff right now. Oh, it's a field that's deep. Oh yeah, her filling is hitting the nerve. Can you imagine that? It's a deep filling that's hitting the nerve. So they thought the best way they didn't want to have to pull it, but so they tried this medication first. And it was almost like a steroid, I think. It didn't work. So they said, well, if the steroid didn't work, the next option was to pull it. So she just called them today and said it didn't work. So she's going to go in Thursday and have it removed. So, you know, she's had wisdom teeth pulled out before, so she knows what it's like to get a tooth pulled. But she's going to be minus a tooth, but, you know, she's going to feel a lot better. She's going to be able to eat a lot better, you know. And, you know, things like that happen, you know. Had my daughter-in-law have surgery on a hysterectomy. Now my daughter's going to have mouth surgery, you know. I hate the Novocaine. I hate when they give you the Novocaine. That's the worst part of all, when they numb your mouth to get that tooth out, and then they wiggle in it like this. And I'm glad they give you Novocaine that you can't feel it, because you can feel that thing in there, and they're just wiggling it, trying to get it loose, because you know it's in there tight. And man, oh man, I bet so too, because her tooth has been bothering her. She can't eat very much. Hot and cold just send her right through the roof, especially cold. She can't eat too much ice cream, because it just really sends her to the moon. And I know how that is, because it's real sensitive right now, and it's painful. But unless you've had an abscess, her dad had an abscess years ago, and when we lived in Indiana, he had an abscess in his tooth, and he was writhing in agony on the living room floor, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong. He says, "Oh, my tooth, it hurts so bad." So I called the dentist, and the day that I called him, I think it was a Thursday. He was not open that day. He was closed for that day. But I called him, and he opened up. He was an older dentist, but he opened up his dentist office for him to get that tooth out as an emergency, because it was abscessed really bad. I've never had an abscessed tooth, and hope I never get one, but he said it was so painful. He just laid on the floor and just rolled and rolled and rolled, and just was practically in tears, crying because it hurt so bad. And when he got that out, he sure felt a lot better. So I know what it's like to have a toothache. I've had a toothache. I've never had I've had cavities, but I've never had a problem where I've had an abscess. I've never had a root canal. Now that's another thing they suggested to my daughter, root canal. I said, no, you don't want to go that route either. Those are not very good either. Who wants to have a root canal? But at least she's going to get her tooth out, and she'll feel so much better, because that tooth has been plaguing her for so doggone long. She's got today and tomorrow to deal with it, and then Thursday she'll get it out. So anyway, I'm glad I could come in here. This hasn't let release all its pressure yet, but as soon as it does, because it has to be natural release, and then I'll open this up, and I'll take the immersion blender to it. I'll have to plug it in when this gets done. I'll unplug this, but anyway, I like coming in here and making different things. I could probably unplug this, because it isn't going to affect get the thing poured out anyway. I like coming in here and finding different recipes, and I'm always finding recipes that are unique. I thought this is really unique. You're putting your asparagus and your broccoli and your cauliflower together in one soup. Who would have thought it? I sure wouldn't have. You know, broccoli and cheese, yeah, asparagus and Yeah, it does, but it's also got cauliflower in it too. Two cups of broccoli, 2 cups of cauliflower, and about 14 or 15 of your asparagus with the stems, a stems and with your ends cut off. And I had a little bit more than 15. I think it was about 20 in the, you get some asparagus at the store banded. There was more than that, and I think there was about 20. I thought, shoot, I'm just going to use them all up and get them out of the refrigerator. So I just used the whole thing up, cut them up, roughly chopped them, and cut them up, and got them out of there. And I'm hoping it's going to taste good, because I love asparagus. Man, I love asparagus. I love broccoli too, and I love cauliflower. And my ex-husband, he loved asparagus, but he didn't like cauliflower and he didn't like broccoli. He was picky that way. He didn't like the taste of them, and I guess that's not uncommon. A lot of people don't like the taste of them. It's whatever floats your boat. Not everybody likes the same things. I love asparagus, and I love broccoli. I love cauliflower, and I'm gonna. And I thought a soup with those three ingredients together. Whoa. I don't eat dinner. This will be my lunch. What I do is I eat breakfast and I eat lunch, and I don't eat a meal at night, because it's only 20 after 20, almost 25 after 2 here. So I don't eat I don't eat a night meal. I just eat 2 meals a day, breakfast and lunch. But I eat enough that I'm tide me over, unless I eat a snack of something, but to tide me over until the next day. Sometimes at night I want popcorn, so I'll get some popcorn. Now that's good for you. Popcorn is real good, so I'll eat that as a snack. That's also real good. That's better than reaching for a candy bar, reaching for a donut, or a ho-ho, or whatever. It's much better. So popcorn is good too. But that's a good question to ask, because I only eat 2 meals a day. Yeah, true. I don't really mind. I don't really mind going with just eating 2 meals a day. It was a little hard at first, because I've been used to eating 3 meals a day. But then when I started cutting back and just eating breakfast and eating lunch, I thought, well, I can do that. That's not gonna be hard. I can do that real well. So I just just eat what I want to eat, and I don't have to worry about having to account to anybody for anything, and I can eat what I want. I probably shouldn't have unplugged that, because I'll probably plug it back in. I'm just gonna plug it back in so it can stay warm. But I eat anything I want to eat, and I don't worry about anybody else, because I'm not being held accountable for anybody else. I'm only held accountable for myself. So therefore, I can eat what I want. I can fix as much as I want, or as little as I want. And sometimes it's a lot harder to fix for one than it is for a whole bunch of people. Really hard, because you have to take the recipe and you have to kind of scale it down a little bit. Although the recipes I put in here, I never scale them down, because what I do is I put oh, there, it just came down. I put them in the refrigerator, and okay. And I'll let you see this. Wow, that's an awesome color. Let me unplug this. I could have left it unplugged. It did. Okay. Now put this on a hot pad or something, so I don't. And let me get my measure things here. Let's see what it is. I'll just set it on this so it doesn't. So I can use the immersion blender, because I don't want to ruin my things. Okay, I'm going to put this down, if you can see a little bit in here. I'm going to use the immersion blender, and I'm going to get this ready. I'm going to make sure that's what it is. And then I add in my milk and stuff. And I'll get the milk out of the refrigerator when I get ready, because I'm not ready for that right now. Now, bear with me on this, because I'm not... Whoa! I guess it don't... There we go. I didn't have it... There, I have it locked on now. Just got to make sure I don't get myself splattered full. Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it? And this is a nice immersion blender. I got this at Walmart. I don't remember what I paid for it, but it was, I think, about $30 or so. take this off now. Take that off. Unplug this because this that has to be in the water anyway. I gotta wash that. Okay, I know that was a little funny, wasn't it? Now I've got to add in my. And here's what it looks like with the immersion blender. See what it did? See how it made that? It made it all nice and creamy. Now blend everything so smooth. Add in your cashew milk, herbs, salt, pepper, nutritional yeast, and give it a stir. Because I don't have to use the immersion blender anymore. But I think it's a. Let's see. Half a cup, and I've got almond milk, so I'll go get that out. What I do is I use the unsweetened almond milk. I don't like the sweetened almond milk and stuff like this. So I just go ahead and measure it out on here. I keep this stuff on hand because I use it so much. Okay. Put this back. Tie my apron again. Alright, let's see what else I need here. Okay. Alright, and then I need a quarter cup of nutritional yeast. Okay, I'll do this on this side. Nutritional yeast, this stuff I get at Amazon. I got this at Amazon. This is real good stuff. This will give it a good flavor. Do it over here so it doesn't, oh, that fan's wanting to blow it around. That's okay. There we go. And I'll put that in there. Okay. This is, I think, was a pound bag. And that's real good stuff. Nutrition yeast is real good. Make sure I got this all out. Okay. Now, let's see. A teaspoon of crushed dried oregano or mixed dried herbs, and then salt to taste. It says thyme leaves. I don't have any thyme leaves, so I don't have the fresh, so I'm just going to use this. I think it's a tablespoon. Yeah, 1 tablespoon. So I don't have the fresh, so I'm just going to use this. I think this will be good. And then I think I need a teaspoon of the other. I get this on here. Sorry about that. Get it on here tight. Okay. Then I need a teaspoon of this. And then I'll mix everything together. Give it a good stir. Then put a little bit of salt in it. See how much salt does it call for? And salt to taste, so I'll just be careful putting some in here. Because you can overdo on salt, so I've got to be careful. Not too much. Alright, now, get my spoon and I'll have to stir it. Let me put this up here. I don't know where I put my spoon. Oh, here it is. And now I'll just put this in a bowl. I'm in a bowl. I'll let you see what happens. This bowl out. This just has the vegetables in it anyway, so I'll just rinse it out and use this one. That just has the vegetables in it, so I'll just use that one. Okay, I've got my ladle here. Watch that. Put that down. There we go. Now I'm going to taste this to see what it tastes like. Just a little bit more. Okay, there we go. I'll put this back in here. Oh, just a minute. I've got to step away and I'll look at your comments. I'll look at your comments as soon as I get back. I'm washing my hands. Whoa, I got on my thumb. I cut my thumb before I come in here. And boy, you get soap and that stuff on it, and it hurts. Okay, now you can see. Let me go back and look at your comments and see what everybody had to say. Oh, no, really? Oh, sorry to hear that. Oh, sorry to hear that, Bruce. I hope everything's okay. I hope you didn't get injured too bad. That's terrible. Oh, my. That's awful. Let me go ahead and put this in here. Let me get a soup spoon, and I'm going to try this and see what it tastes like. Wow, this is different. It is. It's very good. You've got asparagus, broccoli, and cauliflower all mixed in. It's awesome. And the nutritional yeast is a real good, sets it off. Oh, it is. It is. I just tried it. I'm going to put this up on my vegan Facebook page, and I'm also going to try to post it up on the Quick Cooker page too. They're really, you really can't. Not one overpowers the other. They're pretty much all the same. Oh, from a drunk driver. Oh, that's too bad, Bruce. Oh my goodness. You know, the problem of it is when a drunk driver hits you, they never really get injured. You're the one who gets all the brunt of it. You know, it's a shame. But I'm glad you're here, Bruce. But you ask what flavors over. None really are overpowering each other. I think they're pretty much all together. So I really can't taste one over the other ones. I think they're pretty much all the same. But I knew it'd be a green color because your asparagus is green and your broccoli is green. So, and you can't, you know, and the cauliflower is white, but it's actually good. I just used, I was telling people that I just took some broccoli florets and cauliflower florets I had bought at the store frozen because they're already in florets and it makes it a lot easier than to try to cut them up. Oh no. Yes, it's very good. Oh, you love broccoli. Well, this has 2 cups of broccoli florets and 2 cups of cauliflower and about, well, it's supposed to be 14 to 15 of your asparagus stems with your ends cut off. But since there was 20 in, you know, when they're banded up, some have more than others. Had about 20, and I thought, well, I'm just going to use them all. And so I just cut them up, roughly chopped it. This was only cooked for 3 minutes, and then, of course, like you see, I just used the immersion blender. But 3 minutes in the quick cooker, and that's all it took. And it came out really good. The immersion blender did a real good job. As you can see it, look at that. You might find a few chunks down there, but that's okay. But look, doesn't that look awesome? That really looks good. It's a good soup. It's a hearty soup too. It's a very hearty soup. It's a soup that I can eat and don't have to worry about it harming me or anything like that. It's very hearty, very healthy, really, really healthy. I'm glad I found this recipe because I'm always trying to find soups or something to do in the Instapot. Oh, it is. It's really good. Oh yeah, this is a little bit. There's a few chunks in it, so it doesn't get completely. But that's okay because that's to get it smooth and creamy. It's kind of hard with the immersion blender. I did the best I could because it was real chunky when I took the lid off. But now you can see that it's on the smooth side. There's still little chunks in there, but that's fine. It's awesome tasting. I'm going to try another one. See if I can determine what tastes more, what's stronger than the other two. There really isn't. You don't have one overpowering the other. They're all 3 kind of together. It's just a good soup. Let's put it that way. A very good soup. I'm sure people are going to want to try this. It's easier just to buy like I said, the frozen florets. Now, if you want to buy a head or 2 of cauliflower and a head of broccoli and cut them up in florets, you can do that too. But I find it easier just to buy the frozen florets, and you don't even have to bother cutting them up. You just measure out what you need and put it back in the freezer. It's much simpler that way. Erlene had taught me that because that's what she does, and it's much simpler. It is. It's very healthy. It's very healthy. It doesn't have anything in it that you wouldn't want. It's got onions in it. It's got garlic in it. It doesn't have anything in it that you can't have. This soup could be made on the stove as well as those that don't have an Instapot or don't have a quick cooker. Because this is for the Instapot, but everybody knows that the quick cooker works just like the Instapot. In fact, that everything is the same. And you know. Yes, and that's what you need. We need good vitamins. This is very healthy. I'm really glad I found this recipe because I love soup all year round. And this was a soup that I saved the recipe, and I thought, I just found it the other day, and I thought, well, when it's cooler outside, I'll eat it. And I thought, oh, man. Yeah. And, you know, and broccoli, asparagus, and cauliflower are all good veggies anyway. They're all very good for you. If you like broccoli and asparagus and cauliflower, no problem. You know, some people like one but may not the other two. But you can still put it in here, and no one flavor overpowers the rest. Yeah, you did miss it. You have to go back and watch the replay. I'm doing great. This is my asparagus, broccoli, cauliflower soup. It's really good. I'll tell you what it has in it. Okay. Oh yeah, here it is. Of course, I had to put the oil in the bottom, and I seared my 1 cup of finely chopped onion. Oh yeah, when I got done, it was only cooked 3 minutes, and when I got done, I had to use the immersion blender to get the chunks out. Now there's still a few chunks in there, but all in all, it's pretty creamy. I mean, it tastes delicious. 2 teaspoons of chopped garlic, and I just used my garlic press for that. 2 cups of cauliflower florets, and there was 2 cups of broccoli florets, and there was about 14 or 15 asparagus they said you use. But since there was about 18 to 20 in the banded, I thought I'm just going to use them all up and get them out of here. It didn't really matter anyway. You add a little extra to it. It still tastes good. And then 3.5 cups of veggie broth, but I used the whole thing because there's only 4 cups in the container anyway. So I just put the other half cup in there. I didn't worry about that other half cup. And then a half a cup of cashew milk or milk of your choice. I don't have cashew milk, so I use unsweetened almond milk, and that goes in at the very end. And then I put in a 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, a tablespoon of fresh thyme leaves, which I didn't have fresh thyme, so I used dried, and a teaspoon of crushed dried oregano. I didn't crush it, but I put it in there anyway. Salt to taste, and I don't put black pepper in it, but that's basically what it has in it. That's all it has in it. Look at that. Doesn't that have a good look to it? Look at that. Awesome, huh? Awesome. And it tastes awesome too. It really does. I'll have to get off of here quick so I can eat it before it gets cold. But it is really a good soup. I do too. I love the color. It comes from your asparagus and it comes from your broccoli. 2 cups of each. I just measured 2 cups out and poured them in a bowl, and my onions I used in my prep bowl. I chopped them up and measured them out in my prep bowl, my 1 cup prep bowl. But I just did all the prep work before I came in here as far as chopping things up so it would all get done. But it came out so nice. It really did. It actually came out nice. This could probably be done in a blender too, but you'd have to probably scale back the recipe because my daughter, she doesn't have she's got the quick cooker. She can make this in the quick cooker, but there's a lot of soup she wants to make in the blender. You can just have to scale them back because it's just for her anyway. The boys won't eat it, and my son-in-law won't eat it. He doesn't like veggies, only peas. She could make a pea soup and he'd probably eat that, but everything else he won't eat. But anyway, I'm going to have to get off real quick so I can eat this before it gets cold because I don't like cold soup. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go now and close this Periscope up. Thank goodness I didn't have any problems today. Those that were watching my Periscope yesterday, it crashed on me right in the middle of my Periscope, the very first one. So I had to come on again. Everybody thought it crashed the second time, but it didn't crash the second time. Oh yeah, you could probably make it in the Vitamix. This wasn't particularly for the Vitamix, but you could make it in the Vitamix if you wanted to. You just scale it back. Yeah, you can make it in there. I make soups in there. This is a tomato soup I make in there for the Vitamix. It has cashews in it. So I make soups in there. I also make soups in my Instapot blender. But it cooks. This is actually a cooker blender. It cooks your soup, not like the Vitamix, because with friction it heats it up. This actually's got a heating element in it. It cooks it, so it takes a. If you want a real smooth soup, it takes 22 minutes and 44 seconds for the whole thing. Well, that's just the soup itself. The cutting it has to heat up. It's probably a total of 45 minutes before it's completely done. But if you got a lot of time, that's okay. You know. So I do it when I'm not coming on here because it takes too much time. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this my final shot, as you can see. Or I could hold this up, I suppose. Now just look at my final shot. So I want everybody to hope you have a great, marvelous night. And I'll come back in again tomorrow. I'm not sure what I'll make. Maybe I'll bake something tomorrow. I'm not really sure. But I hope you have a great and marvelous day, what's left of it. And until we meet again, take care. God bless. Love you all. And bye-bye.